Brad Winderbaum, head of streaming, television, and animation for Marvel Studios, caught the attention of Defenders fans when he shared that Marvel is exploring bringing back the rest of the Netflix Defenders actors and characters. Krysten Ritter as Jessica Jones, Mike Colter as Luke Cage, and Finn Jones as Iron Fist. Winderbaum indicated that the studio is excited about the possibility, but that there are a lot of variables, and it will determine the success of pulling it all together. While this is fun to hear as fans, other Marvel TV is taking a pause. Though sources say these projects were never officially greenlit, Deadline reports that Nova, Strange Academy, and Terror Inc. are not currently being developed. This is mostly being attributed to Marvel's shift to traditionally run television shows, but in confirmed news, The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed that Jon Bernthal will star in a Marvel Studios special presentation featuring The Punisher that will air in 2026 alongside the second season of Daredevil Born Again. Do you think Daredevil can hear our heartbeats start and stutter with these different bits of news?
Well, if he's anywhere within range of my heartbeat, he definitely heard it get a little bit faster because, this is incredibly exciting, and the timeliness just feels perfect because at the time of this recording, we also are hearing that Daredevil Born Again is getting rave reviews. And I've seen some quotes saying that it might be the best pilot of all the MCU TV shows so far. Now, we got to take that with a grain of salt because that's always the case. Whenever a new property like this comes out and people get to see it early, there's a lot of fervor. But I take it as a vote of confidence. I think everything that we've been hearing about this series, the fact that they went back and did the reworks, all of the marketing that we've seen thus far, the trailers have looked fantastic. We're 1 week away from it today. I could not be more excited for the return of Daredevil with Daredevil Born Again. So with that in mind, we already know that Punisher's going to pop up in there, and there's been a lot of rumors that some of these other Defenders could show up because when we first started talking about this show, we were under the impression that it was not going to have any connection to the Netflix verse outside of the casting of Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk. Thank you. It was right there and it came to me. So to have this as a possibility, I do find pretty exciting. I will admit, I was one of those watchers that when the season of Defenders came out, it did not land super well with me, and I did feel the burnout. I had been watching every single Netflix series and season up to that point alongside the CW stuff, and that's when I just hit that wall. It wasn't good enough to keep me coming back. So I have not seen the second seasons for Jessica Jones, for Luke Cage, or for Iron Fist, but particularly Krysten Ritter and Mike Colter. Those are the ones that I kind of glom onto and would be very excited to see return. Finn Jones, I feel kind of bad for him. As we've learned more and more, he didn't really get the time or space to learn the fight choreography like he should have. So I would be open to him returning, but I've always been part of that camp. Like if we could bring back Jessica Henwick as Colleen Wing, that's what I would really like to see. But yeah, obviously a lot on the table here, a lot developing in the world of TV. And I think it's been a little bit of a process of them finding their footing, but I'm feeling really good about Marvel TV these days.
Me too.
I'm wondering about this Jon Bernthal Punisher special presentation that was being mentioned, because the words special presentation were used by some of the trades, but not all of the trades. It was kind of being pandered as like a presentation or whatever, but it was never confirmed as a series. Like that was the one thing that they said. It's not a series, it's a one-off thing. So it's kind of got me wondering a little bit about the length of this thing. And I'm kind of thinking that there's a pretty good possibility this could be a Disney Plus MCU movie. Like this could be a made for Disney Plus movie. Because I'm just thinking like, okay, so you're going to bring back this character and do like a 30-minute thing. Like it doesn't really feel like that's necessarily the direction that you would go if you were given the opportunity to do that. And so I think the idea that it will tell its own story, that it will be up against Daredevil, the second season, and probably somewhat play into that tells me that this might be something a little bit different, which I think is an experiment that Marvel should try. Like the idea that we should do a made-for-TV MCU, especially with these smaller characters. If you want to do a movie, and maybe someone's come to you with a script and wants to do a movie, Jon Bernthal has partial writing credit on this thing, for example, that it would make a lot of sense because, you know, some of these characters like the Punisher, you put him in a movie, and he's based in the Defenders, which was on Netflix, and then he's in this show that's on Disney Plus, and then you put him on the big screen, that movie's probably not going to be extraordinarily successful at the box office, but I could see it doing really well on Disney Plus. And then finally, just kind of looking at it, the director is Ronaldo Marcus Green. He did the Bob Marley movie and among other movies as well. So again, it just kind of leans credence to the fact, for me at least, that I would not be surprised if it comes out that this is actually some sort of a film, or it's much longer than these special presentations like Werewolf by Night and the Guardian special for Christmas, which were on like the 40-minute side of things.
Yeah, Guardians was 42 minutes, but Werewolf by Night was 54, so it got close to an hour.
You just had that right there.
I looked it up because I was curious, like if this was going to be similar.
Actually, 42 minutes and 35 seconds.
Well, I do think that like there's a big difference between getting close to an hour. It's less like an episode.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
If anything, it's a long, like 42 minutes is a short episode of television. 54 minutes is a long episode of television, like nearing that hour mark. I don't know.
I'm not glad to see these other shows get shelved. But what I am glad is that Marvel does look like they're taking a serious look at what they were thinking about doing and maybe going, okay, this isn't quite the right time for this, as we're going back to adopting this model of traditional television show running, which we've known they've been doing. It's kind of shocking. I think the Nova series is the one that's surprising, just because we talked a lot about that one. But, you know, like the sources said, it wasn't really being developed. We didn't know much of anything. It was all kind of rumor and speculation. And so hopefully shelving it and coming back to it, or bringing the character in a more meaningful way in a film or another television show is in the plan. So I think it gives me confidence that not only are they going back to the well on the Netflix shows that were wildly popular and for the most part extremely well done, they're giving us what we want in that way, but they're also going, okay, we're actually going to take this seriously. We're not just going to develop everything under the sun because that didn't work.
Mm-hmm. I do think, you know, I'm both, just one thing that really excites me about this, and it's the fact that, and I'm not sure if we may have already known this, but that season 2 of Daredevil is going to be coming in 2026, and that this Punisher series is or Punisher special presentation is alongside that, because they've been saying they're going to do more traditional TV running type things, and one of the things about that is a TV show generally tries to put out a season every year, whereas, you know, the Netflix series were a little more sparse, but they were mostly kept it to about a year and a half, and then like the a lot of the Disney Plus, those, it's like 4 years between sort of sequel series, and it's like, okay, this is it. I really love the idea of Daredevil just being like a stable every year, 10 episodes or 9 episodes. That sounds amazing. And I'm really curious if the fact that this Punisher special presentation is running so close to the season 2 is the way I read that, that I'm wondering if it will like hand off to it or be handed off to, like, you know, whatever happens in that season 2 of Daredevil will relate to something that's going on in that special presentation in some way, whether in some small way possibly, or, you know, like Turk Barrett shows up in both and he's off doing something, or, you know, Punisher goes and cleans something up after Daredevil doesn't finish the job, you know, something like, who knows. I love this idea though. My one concern with thinking about bringing back the Defenders, I don't think they can bring back all these series. I think that's a terrible idea.
Sure.
I do. They did, and they didn't say that. They said they're talking about bringing back the actors and the characters. So I have a feeling we will get like them appearing on other shows. Maybe we'll get a second Defenders series. Maybe we'll get one of these like Jessica Jones or Luke Cage, and those other characters will drop in. I just think Marvel is going to get really oversaturated. If we were to bring back the old way that Netflix was doing it, while Marvel is still trying to produce regular Disney Plus shows, like WandaVision sequels and Ironheart and all this stuff, like it's just going to get too full, and we're going to get way beyond the overwhelm that we had a few years ago, you know.
I got the solution to bring back all 3 characters in one fell swoop. Heroes for Hire, and you have Luke Cage and Krysten Ritter, Jessica Jones be in that relationship.
Yeah.
And Misty Knight and Colleen Wing doing their thing too. Yeah.
Well, it all depends on the success of Daredevil. And that's why we're hearing all of this news right now, is because okay, well, we're thinking about bringing the Defenders back and we're going to do this Punisher thing. It's because they're trying to drum up the idea that you should watch Daredevil, which is getting ready to pop on Disney Plus next week. You know, they're saying he's showing up and then we're going to do a thing with him later. And then if this goes well, you might see these guys again. You guys remember these guys from Netflix? And so it's all in an effort to push people towards Daredevil. And then the success of Daredevil or lack thereof will determine if we see these characters in this universe explored more. I mean, if Daredevil has good streaming numbers and gets good reviews and people are streaming it and watching it and talking about it and it's by all measures a success on Disney Plus, then yeah, I mean, that season 2's coming. It's already filmed, but you'll get that season 2, you'll get the Punisher thing, and then, well, they want more and there's an appetite for it, and let's bring those other characters in and let's do a crossover and let's put them in the season and all of that. But if the show doesn't do great numbers and it struggles a little bit and people don't really love it and they're, you know, whatever, fill in the blank for whatever reason a show doesn't do well, then, you know, these comments will walk back. So it's, again, it's a push towards this thing that's about to happen, and then the success of it will determine if we see more of it explored in different areas and in different ways. It was popular on Netflix, so they kept making more of them, you know, and it's the same thing for Disney Plus.
Yeah, for sure. I'm stuck on your idea, Jay Scotty, of a Heroes for Hire show that would include all of these characters. And I love that idea. I really do. Especially like if they expand it from the comics version where it's mostly just the two guys and they really make it like a team. Then you could even have drop-ins from other heroes from around the verse. Like I could see like Aman Vellani dropping in as Miss Marvel to like see, you know, just checking in with them and doing things because she's been on the TV side of Marvel, and other characters from around the city or around New York like coming in just for an episode or two. That would be
let's
really
have She-Hulk come to New York to visit Matt.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Well, this is a big swing, and they aren't going to do exactly this because we have Sam Wilson as Cap, but at one point Luke is running the Avengers, like he's in charge, and Jessica's in there, and so I think it's all new, all different. I can't remember. No, that's Captain America. It doesn't matter, but like there could be elements of that where you get a real street level hero, kind of like Hawkeye was, you know, in the original Avengers for us in the MCU, so that could be fun.
Yeah, 100%. That sounds like tons of fun to me. All right. Well, I'm really excited to hear more about that. We were only but a few days away from Daredevil Born Again. I cannot believe it. I'm so pumped. You just watched a clip from Multiverse News. If you liked it, go to our channel. We got a whole episode that it comes from. So go check that out and hit the like and subscribe. And we got lots of clips you'll enjoy, but also full hour-long episodes of Multiverse News with lots of things that don't even make it to clips. So check us out.
You stay clippy.